afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the master class Future of Work, second edition. I can say happy Friday to you all. My name is 𝗙𝘀𝘁𝗲𝗿, LinkedIn Top Voice. I'm thrilled to be here with you, along with 𝗪𝘀𝘁𝗀𝗿𝗏. George, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Very good, very good. I'm
Good.
happy to be with you today for the
Likewise.
second edition of master class. A lot of topic today to discover with our people attending this master class. So thank you for all of you to joining us. Master class is every Friday, 12 p.m. CST time. We will meet here on LinkedIn Live to explore the latest HR and people analytics topic. It's not just the headlines, but deeper insight for free to shape how we lead, how we plan, how we connect in the workplace. Each week, I will bring you the freshest HR research and trends with George. We are, analyzing that together. We will spotlight also what is truly matters right now for you as a HR professional, and you will receive, if you would like, a free exclusive blueprint for each topic. I will send you directly to the attendees. Just ping me and I will, send you immediately. But let's be clear. This is just not about a webinar. It's a goal learning journey designed for HR students eager to grow, CHRO, shaping strategy, HR professional, ready to learn the future of work. A quick reminder, if you miss anything today, it will be recorded, so it will be available later on my YouTube channel. So before we dive in, I ask you, to drop your location in the comments so that me and George, we can see how global are our master class today. George, a lot of topic this week. I have shared a lot of research, interesting topic for the HR professional and also for those that they eager to learn. Let's start with the first topic that I just shared today. It was very fresh topic that I just shared today is about retention and retention topic that's very important, and the comparison fascinating topic that was shared by achievers. They have shared that HR professionals have the same reason of staying and living as employees, but they demand more than compensation. And we will, look at this trend, these findings together. So first of all, is the top reason to stay. First of all, George, is it, something different? Because for me, when we are talking about employees, HR professional are also employees, right? For me, it was we need, to look at the same people, same trend when you're looking at the reason of stay or reason of living for them should be the same. But these findings show us that is a little bit different.
I think part of the problem, I've been into some organizations where HR is still seen as a secondary function. It's not seen as a strategic input. I wonder if there might be two reasons for that. One, because the leadership within companies haven't caught on to the fact that HR has moved on from being an administrative role. And I also see perhaps the second one is that I wonder if HR professionals in some organizations don't understand the organization itself and how it works. They see themselves sort of stagnated into this administrative role of recruitment and looking at the legalities of employing people, rather than actually looking at how they can involve themselves in the running of the company itself. So it's difficult, perhaps it's a bit of both.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, George. Very important, reason that you explained that there is this disconnect. The When we are looking at this data, top reason to stay, you can see that the comfort is the same for both employees and HR. Pay is similar, 32, 31%. But when you are going to the appreciation, there is a huge difference. 38% of the HR professional is the reason to stay, whereas while the other parts for employees is 27. Appreciation for the HR professional seems to be important. How you explain that?
I think that comes back to what I've just said, and that is that, you know, if HR is being seen as a secondary function,
Yeah.
then there's also going to be a lack of development.
Yeah.
If there's a lack of development, then you get a lack of appreciation.
Okay.
You know, HR has a big role to play in organizations, and we really need to see HR moving forward. I mean, I know that people like 𝗙𝘂𝘁𝗂𝗿 have actually provided a lot of good information on this, but that information shouldn't be fed to HR. It should be fed to the leadership in the organization to realize how HR can actually add to people's engagement, add to retention, and actually help to add value to all stakeholders within the organization. And I think there is a link there that is missing. And I think it's the link between leadership and HR.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, George. Very thank you for this explanation. It's very important. Appreciation is very important. But how to measure that is also another topic, how we can measure this appreciation but again, is the survey. I guess the most important part is a survey, is a understanding of manager. They can, show us. Looking back at this, topic and these findings, I think one other's category that is showing difference between employees and HR professional is growth. As you can see, 29% of the HR professional thinks that is important for them, whereas 90% of employees, manager is the same, 14% for employees. So I guess the three category, and I share also in my article today, growth, managers, appreciation. That's something should be different for the top reason to stay between HR professional and employees. That's fascinating for me, really fascinating, because for me, that's something I was not aware that, there is this big difference between the reason for stay should be, if leaders or CHROs understand that to keep their HR professional, they need to focus mainly, again, on these three categories of fields of data, I think they can, engage more their HR professional. Do you agree, George, about that?
Yes, I do. I think the development of HR staff is just as important as development of any member of staff in the organization. And if they're not getting the development, then they're not going to get the growth.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking of one particular organization I went into, must be about 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
And I said, I was actually talking to the leadership there and said, well, you need to get your HR people qualified, put them through the Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development. And, I said, you really need to move them up through to level 7 so as they are taking a strategic role. And the answer came back, well, we don't really see the point of taking them past level 5, and if that is the attitude, then, people are not going to grow. They're not going to, and they will not feel appreciated. And I think appreciation and growth go together.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love the link between growth, appreciation, and manager. The importance of manager is also very important, George. That is showing here for the HR professional having a great manager, having a manager, and we can see with with this link about they appreciate their work and also they help them to grow. That's something we can link this, and it's about this blueprint that I will share with the attendees is very important, is about linking between these fields about growth, manager, appreciation. They need a manager to grow, they need a manager to appreciate, to be appreciated, and also to be engaged. The employee experience will grow. So all of this is very important. And one thing, George, and I really important, to highlight is about the comfort. That is 50% of the employees, they highlight that. They are in the comfort zone. So they are the top reason to stay. First of all, I'm good. I'm good in where I am. They are not thinking about it's because of the pay, because of appreciation, etc. How you explain that? When you are good in somewhere, you will stay, for forever.
Yeah, I think empowerment comes down to that. I think inclusion comes down to it as well. If you are included in everything that is going on within an organization,
Yeah.
then you're going to feel a lot more comfortable than if you're being left out of things.
Yeah.
And perhaps that brings it back to HR being treated as a secondary function rather than a primary function. Not in all organizations, but certainly in some. And I mean, if we look at comfort, I mean, yeah, okay, if 49% of HR feel comfortable,
Yeah.
what about the other 51%?
Yeah.
It, it's, I mean, it's when you look at both statistics, whether it's for employees or whether it's for HR, I mean, they do look pretty poor. So maybe, if HR are not getting their fair share of development, they're not being included in what's going on, they're just being used as an administrative role, then how can they then move on to helping employees or putting systems in place where employees will feel that, they are appreciated, they're getting the growth, and they feel comfortable. It's all about inclusion. And I get it really worries me when I see these figures because, you wonder what the leadership are actually doing, what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Because the most expensive thing that you have in an organization, or in most organizations, is the payroll.
Yeah.
It's the people are the most important asset within the company.
Love that.
And if you're not treating them in the way in which it comes across that they are important, they are appreciated, then you're not going to get the engagement.
Absolutely. Consider them is very important. Considering them, recognition is important, as you highlighted very well. Yeah. And let's look at the other reason and other findings, George, is about top reason to leave. I I would say that's not any surprising for us to say that the top reason that employees are leaving, both in HR and other employees, is related to compensation, right? So we have pay, benefits are in the top reason. Then we have work flexibility, and not to be distinct from flexibility, right? Work-life balance is not the same. Work flexibility is, for example, when we have flexibility on the hours, flexibility on where to work, Culture and manager quality pay a small error, while mission alignment ranks lowest in influence. That's interesting as well, when you are looking at these findings, George.
Well, everything is expensive these days.
Yeah.
I mean, the UK is probably one of the worst places. You know, we pay a lot of money for our gas and electricity. We pay a lot of money for food.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all these things have gone up over the past few years.
Yeah.
And so, am I surprised that people would put pay at the top? Probably not. But there again, I don't think that employers particularly want to get into a pay war either.
Yeah.
So when you look at employers and you look at pay, if you want more pay, you're going to have to go to a larger employer that possibly expects you to do a lot more than you're doing in your current role. It's difficult.
Yeah. But George,
I'm surprised. Career progression is there, and I can see that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that's not higher.
Yeah.
Because when I've spoken to people recently that I know that have decided to change not just change job, but change their employer as well.
Yeah.
The pay has been connected to the career progression.
Yeah.
They've left because they want to move up the ladder, and they know that by doing so, they're going to be better paid. So the two things have sort of tied in.
Absolutely. Recognition is the same. Recognition and rewards, culture. Manager surprisingly is one of the last reason to leave, but in 3 years back, it was one of the top reason, and maybe it's the second one. The fact that the pay composition is the first reason to leave for this study is not surprising for me, because in all the study that I have read, is always compensation. Pay is the number one. You are changing the job because of the pay. You would like to increase your pay. That's normal things for employees. But this second part is the work flexibility is coming number two, and career progression, as you said, it's coming number three. For this, I think it's very strange. It's very strange that these categories are coming, down.
I'm not surprised that manager is second from bottom.
Oh, really?
At one time, we used to see a lot of posts on LinkedIn that used to say, people leave because of bad managers.
Yeah.
In fact, people were leaving because the organizations they're in failed to provide their managers with the right training and mentoring. It wasn't, in most cases, it wasn't the manager. It was actually the lack of development of the manager that was causing the problem. So were they leaving bad managers? No, they weren't. They were leaving very bad organizations, actually, that didn't see the need for the leadership development of the manager. I actually attended, this was going back a bit, I think it was 2009, I attended a function in Parliament. I wasn't the only one. There were a lot of us there, and we were all members of the Chartered Management Institute, and it was to talk about management and leadership.
Yeah.
And I was surprised at the number of people there that actually said, well, when I took up the post of manager, I wasn't given any leadership training. I was just left to get on with it,
Yeah.
I think possibly things have moved on from that, and people and organizations have started to realize that their managers need that leadership training if they are going to lead people. So
absolutely.
maybe that's why it's moved so far down the list.
No, thank you for this explanation, George. Yeah, absolutely. Very interesting findings, and well done to the Achievers team for these wonderful findings. Let's discuss about, taking together, this insight, help us to understand why people are leaving, top reason to leave, top reason to stay. So this data is very, as you said, powerful. I think we have some reaction in the chat, George, about these findings.
Sorry.
We have a reaction from Jose. Has been
Ah,
So Jose is saying that pay has become important because of living increase since the pandemic. Yes, totally
yeah.
true. And he has highlighted another point, George.
Yeah, he says that he's surprised that managers are so low, but I think I'll come back to the point that I think that over the last few years, employers have realized that their managers need that leadership training. They need the mentoring that goes with it to actually lead people.
Yeah,
And without that, then you are not going to create value. And I think that is possibly why we're seeing managers so low now.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
poor culture exemplified by managers and leaders. Well, I think there's two things there. First of all, yes, the culture, leadership have to lead the culture. That's the first thing. But there again, the employees tend to create their own culture as well.
Yeah,
And I think a lot of this starts at the top and trickles down. And it's a case of, are people included in everything that's going on? Are people being developed in the right way? Are they treated as individuals rather than just a mass of employees?
yeah,
You know, if you're going to develop people, people will be at different stages of their career development. And you need to take that on board. So you need to treat them as individuals, and you need to take them slightly out of their comfort zone so as they are actually gaining learning at the right level.
fascinating.
Without that, you will never have a culture that is going to be right for everybody.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
the culture has to be inclusive. It has to be at the right, the development needs to be at the right level. When you give feedback, which I know we're going to come on to in a few moments,
yeah,
then that feedback has to be designed for the individual
yeah,
and not a comparison made between the one individual and another.
yeah,
And the reason for that is, as I say, you have different have individuals at different points of their development. And
yeah,
if you're comparing one against the other, then you know the person that's being compared by somebody to somebody that has had more development than they have will feel basically undervalued because it's they're going to feel as though
yeah,
they're not valued for what they're doing.
yeah, yeah.
The value is being considered against somebody else rather than themselves.
Yeah.
So I think that's important.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, George. It's important for the task of manager, how to do this comparison together. I would like George to discuss about another topic that I shared this week as well about performance appraisal. As you know, performance appraisal, there is a very, I can say, hot topic in HR. Do we need performance appraisal? Do you don't need a performance appraisal? Are people, really honest about their performance appraisal, and how they can see, this performance appraisal is a HR ritual that is it just a tick box, or it's useful for inside the organization. And I have selected this study about Quick Resume. Did a amazing, um, as usual, I can say, amazing, amazing findings that he shared with us, and show really important and really striking, findings. Uh, and we, and it was very eye-opening for me about this because I didn't think about that. These people are, when they are doing one step of this performance appraisal, is self-evaluation at work, how you are honest or not. And what they found this is that majority of them, 71% of employees, admit that they are not fully honest in their self reviews. Whereas they are hold back, the answer reveal a striking pattern of unsaid trust. 36% avoid giving feedback about management, not because they don't have, it's very important, not because they don't have, but because they self-review doesn't feel like a safe place to voice them. 23% hide their real career goals. 22% keep quiet about salary expectation. 80% hold back their struggles or request for support. Perhaps the most alarming, silence. This, I guess, this is the most alarming findings that I have seen about performance appraisal, George. And what it shows is that the taboos of self-reviews mirror the deeper tension about workplace, right? So if all these people hide everything related to their feedback about their management, about their salaries, about their well-being, about their support, about their help, about their career growth, etc. What is the use? What is the goal of performance reviews in the end? Your thought, George?
Okay, well, if we look at self-evaluation, I'm looking at what's on the screen at the moment.
Yeah.
Um, the one thing that I picked up on there was the 18% that say I focus more on my strengths than my weaknesses.
Hmm?
When I used to do my own self-evaluations,
Yeah.
I probably did it the other way around. I actually focused more on my weaknesses than my strengths because I wanted my people in leadership, because I was in a senior management role. I wanted people in the leadership roles to know that this is where I believe I need development.
Yeah.
And without that, then they will just remain weaknesses, and that wasn't what I wanted. I knew what my strengths were,
Yeah.
and they would know what my strengths were. They would probably know some of my weaknesses as well.
Yeah.
But it's not just about, I see this as a weakness. It's a case of, I see this as a weakness, and I believe I need development by doing such and such in
Yeah.
order to turn it into a strength.
Yeah.
So I'm actually what I need to transfer that weakness to be a strength. And I think you've got to be quite honest there, and say, yeah, okay, I know I tried to do this, it didn't work. Maybe that's down to the fact that I need more development in this area,
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're not totally honest about it, then you are not going to get career progression because you're not going to get the development that's needed for that progression. So I think you've got to be totally honest with your self-evaluation. Would I make myself look better in the evaluation? Well, no, I'd be totally honest.
Yeah.
I know I've got this weakness. This is what this is how I think I should, I need development to get around that and turn it into a strength. And I think any employer would pick up on that and go, well, if that's the case, then obviously he's engaged. So maybe we need to engage with him to give him that development.
No, totally fascinating. Fascinating. So it's very important, that people to create a culture, to create an environment that people to self-evaluate honestly what is their weakness, as you said, and manager understand what is their weakness in order, and I guess it's more about, the manager role also, to put a climate of um, open discussion and to see what is the trend in order that the manager can help the employees in order to grow, and not to be evaluated negatively. That's very important.
I mean, perhaps there is a need for, when we look at self-evaluation and we look at the format that is provided to provide that evaluation,
Yeah.
maybe we need to have sections within there whereby people have to be totally honest and say, I need development in this area.
Yeah.
And also sections that say, well, I feel as though I've done well in this area, but maybe, I need to make sure that I don't move away from that strength in
Yeah.
trying to develop a weakness into a strength.
Yeah.
So it's a case of finding that balance. And I think a lot of that can come out of the way in which a self-evaluation format is provided to the employee.
Yeah. Absolutely, George. And I believe these findings shine light on this something deeper than mechanic of performance reviews. They reveal the fragile balance between trust and technology, right? So trust is the currency of leadership. If reviews become too automated, employee may question whether the manager knows their work, recognizes their effort, and cares enough of offer specific human feedback. So, and also we are going back to the question of what will be the role of AI can support performance review, but it must never replace the authenticity of building this trust if we are discussing about AI, because I see a lot of tool is coming to the area about doing the performance reviews of them, both employees and both manager. So for me, it's something that we need to be careful about that.
I agree. If we're going to talk about self-evaluation, if we are going to talk about assessment of people, then I don't think you can do that through AI. And the reason you can provide the format for it, for doing it through AI, but the actual content has to be human generated.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, you will lose that trust. People know when things are AI generated.
Correct. Thank you, George. Let's go to the other topic that I would like to discuss today, that I have shared also in the past few days, is about the Gartner has shared their findings for the next year priorities for 2026 about 𝗖𝗹𝘀𝘀𝗿, that they must or recommend to embrace the Gartner AI-infused HR operating model. So what's new about this HR operating model? Of course, AI is an important part. Innovation is an important part of these priorities. And they have, frame a new framework for HR operating model that involves the familiar actors, HRBPs, COEs, HR operation, but shift the focus toward HR innovation. So they have established an HR innovation command center. So they have put, 4 pillars for this HR operating model. Is establishing an HR innovation command center led by the head of HR strategy, head of change management, the center of guides HR through its transformation. Then number 2, it's redefine HRBPs as strategic talent leaders. AI agent take over transactional tasks and HRBPs evolve into leaders driving talent strategy. Number 3 is transform COEs into HR product designer. Interesting name, I would say. Center of Excellence move toward designing customized HR products such as personalized onboarding and tailored learning journeys. Number 4 is transform HR operations to digital HR solution and delivery, shift operation to digital HR solution and delivery, where AI agent, again, AI is coming, handle most tier 0 and tier 1 activities. Big shift, George, about what is new. It's not new. It's about these three actor: HRBP, CEO, COE, and HR operations, center of excellence. They are involved in all of these three part of the HR operating model. But what is new is AI, the role of AI agent in the future AI infused model. What is your thoughts about that?
It's difficult because I've actually seen digital HR in practice, and I've seen it fail. I've not found a digital HR solution that is inclusive of everything you need it to be inclusive of. If we look at things like recruitment, you have standalone software for recruitment. And when we come to talk about recruitment, I've been saying for quite a while now that it's not, we've always been told when you apply for a position, you only put the experience, skills, and knowledge that's required for that position. That to me, from an employer's point of view, that means what you're missing out on is all the skills, the knowledge, and the experience that people have that you're not now seeing. So when you come to go into transformation and change programs, you could be looking for experience you've actually got in the organization, but you don't know it's there. So, it's very much a case of we have a lot of individual software packages doing different things that really need to be tied together so as you can get it all in one place and you can actually transfer information from one area to another. In other words, information that you don't need at the moment, such as, how people actually, what experience have they got that you don't know about? You can actually get that into some form of library whereby when you need that sort of experience, those skills, experience, and knowledge, you can actually go into that library and go, so and so has that. So now we need to go and talk to him about this change program we're going to put in place. Instead of which, you find that at the moment, a lot of organizations, because they don't know what they've got, will actually go out and pay to recruit somebody with all the costs that's incurred when they don't need to, because they've already got that knowledge, skills, and that experience already in the organization. So we've got to be very careful when we look at digital HR to make sure that we're getting the right software solutions to actually add value. I noticed that Jose's come up and said, is this model not really how HR and most business need to reframe the way they work in the new AI human ecosystem? I'll talk about that, because I believe that, when you're talking AI human ecosystem, you have to also look at bias. And you have to, and not just bias from the human being, because we know we're all biased in some way.
Yeah.
But we also know, I think a lot of us know what our biases are, and we try and cut those out as much as possible. But also in software solutions, you will also find bias.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and that is the bias of the people that are actually writing the software.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to be very careful when you're looking at AI and human ecosystems to make sure that that neither of them are causing bias within the culture.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely, George. Thank you for this, and thank you for those, commenting in the chat. Uh, just to conclude this,
Just very quickly, I noticed that Dr. 𝗙𝘂𝘁𝗂𝗿 has
yeah,
put something up there as well, and he
about
was talking.
the previous research.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and yeah, I totally agree with him. Um,
I'm
that
showing.
is where the gap often starts.
Yeah,
So it's very.
I feel organizations fail to train employees to be reflective and embrace critical self-evaluation, and that's where the gap often starts, in my opinion. Absolutely, Dr. Lee. Yeah.
And I totally agree with that. I mean, there has to be training not only for the managers that are going to be delivering their side of the evaluation, but also for the individual employees to make sure that they know what is expected of them in doing their self-evaluation. It comes back to what I said earlier, that maybe we need to be careful in how we design the actual format of the evaluation form.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, thank you, Dr. Lee. Thank you, George, as well. To conclude to this study, I would like to highlight that the researchers find that nearly 1/3 of predicted productivity gains will come from evolving to this new HR operating model, and let's see, how many organizations will adopt that in the future. We have no clue about that. Let's see next year. I'm sure that the next finding of Gartner will, reveal this information. But yeah, it's interesting. But as you said, George, we have some thoughts about the feasibility of this, proposal about this AI. But what is true is the three actor, HR operations, COE, and HRBPs will stay, as we say, in the future states of any HR operating model. Of it's either this one or another one, but it will be the key actors, I can say, of the future HR operating model. So thank you so much for your info, guiding us about these findings. So
I think that also comes down to how the employees are going to be involved in that, because it's not just for the HR professionals.
Absolutely.
A lot of, if we're talking about AI infused HR operating models, but there again, you're also talking about how AI is to be used.
Yeah.
And how employees are going to be interacting with that as well. Because when we talk about the self-assessment that we were talking about earlier, that could be formatted by AI.
Yeah.
The actual format for the annual assessment, if you like, could be formatted on AI.
Yeah.
But it means you've got to give employees, and it comes back to what 𝗙𝘂𝘁𝗂𝗿 said, and that is that you have to train employees on how that is to be used.
Yeah.
So you need to decide what access you are going to give to the employees when you talk about HR AI.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, George. Let's discuss about the other topic about purpose at work. So I shared this beginning of the week, and it was a fascinating findings about Gallup researcher that they found that 17 of employed Americans strongly agree that they have a strong sense of life purpose, but yet those who do are 3.2 times more likely to be thriving in life, right? So employees who feel their organization mission makes their job important are 4 times more likely to have a strong sense of work purpose. So purpose is important, and so why it's important, and one point is very important: how we define purpose in this study. And in general, purpose is the reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists. I think it's very important, to highlight that we are coming to work because we have a goal, right? We have more specifically as a forward looking life aimed at provide direction to one action and decision. So researchers emphasize that purpose is a powerful driver of both individual and performance and organization success. So employees with a strong sense of life purpose uh, are more likely to contribute meaningfully for their workplace and less likely to be actively job hunting. What is your thought, George, about this purpose at work, importance of purpose at work?
Yeah, work needs to be meaningful to the person that's carrying it out,
Yeah,
and they again it comes down to inclusion. When you look at the work that's being carried out, we then come to the why of work. Why are we doing what we're doing? If we
yeah,
don't understand that,
yeah,
then we will never understand, we will never gain any value from our work. So that's the first thing. Why are we doing it? Has it been explained to us that we get this outcome by doing what we're doing, and therefore it adds value? How does it add value to the individual as well? Because again, if you're making like work meaningful, then
yeah,
you have to include development in there. So therefore, the work is meaningful. You're doing it for a reason, not just for the sake of doing it. And you know, we we're being developed at the same time. But what that means is you then have to go through and look at the value chain and say, okay, fine, what work are we doing that we no longer need to do? When did we last look at the processes that we use to
yeah,
undertake that work?
yeah,
You know,
yeah. And
are there
George,
are we missing things that
yeah,
should be there that aren't, and have things in there that are old hat that are no longer required?
yeah,
And to do that, you have to engage the employees.
yeah,
And I
very,
would suggest, you know, how, getting them to look at the value chain, how things are done to create value at the
yeah,
end of it, because they will be seeing things that they will probably say, well, why are we doing this? It doesn't make any sense.
yeah,
Why aren't we doing that? So again, it comes down to this being inclusive and including them in looking at what they do, why they do it,
yeah.
and what the effects are at the end of it.
No, very important. Thank you, George, for highlighting that. The why is very important, and cannot the purpose cannot fill without employees. Very important, part that you have highlighted. To conclude this research, researchers recommend three core strategies for cultivating purpose in organization. Make work feel purposeful. As you highlighted, leaders should ensure employees understand not just what they do, but why it matters. As you highlighted, George, very correctly, why they need to work, why they need, to thrive. The second point is connect work to life purpose as well. It's important. This means knowing what truly matters to employees and making intentional choices about how work is assigned and supported to align with their personal sense of meaning. I think this part is very important as well, but very not so obvious to link with the personal purpose of employees, right? Personal life purpose of employees. George.
Well, yeah, connecting work to employees' life purpose.
Yeah.
I thrive on development. I thrive on learning.
Yeah.
That's what I enjoy,
Yeah.
both inside and outside of work. I mean, outside of work, I love to learn new things. I love to do new things.
Yeah.
And connecting work to employees' life purpose, perhaps, is a case of showing them new things,
Yeah.
and maybe looking at how that connects to interests that they may have
Yeah.
outside of work. I know that sounds a bit wishy-washy and a bit difficult, but you normally find that, a team leader will know their people.
Yeah.
They will
Exactly.
have an idea of, what their people are interested in, both inside, in and out of work.
Yeah.
And if you can make a connection between the two, and they feel that they're benefiting from something in work, some form of development maybe, that could be also used to them in their own life,
Absolutely. Absolutely. So very important, connect work to employees' life purpose is those that they are, near the employees every day, that as you highlighted, the middle managers, that they have a team, they need to understand them, they need to recognize them, how they can connect their employee life purpose to the goals of organization. So very important part. And finally, they support every path to purpose. Work should enable, not compete with, the pursuit of purpose in life. Organizations thrive when employees can integrate meaning across both professional and personal spheres. That's important as well. All paths, all important, project needs to have a purpose. They can understand why. The why is very important than how, I guess. That's very important.
I think also that, when you talk about supporting all paths to purpose, you need to take as much stress, unnecessary stress, out of the workplace as possible. Because that way people will look at the work they're doing,
Yeah.
look at the benefits that they're getting from it, and be able to transform that into their individual purpose, if you like, both of work and life, and move it along without feeling that they're being pressured into doing something. They actually enjoy what they're doing. It comes back to something you showed on one of your previous slides, and that's comfort.
Yeah.
How comfortable am I in actually doing my, going to work and doing the work?
Yeah.
And the answer is that, if I don't feel comfortable, if I'm stressed all the time and uptight all the time, then I think that's what we mean by support all paths to purpose, is making sure that people enjoy what they do, they feel comfortable doing it.
Absolutely. No, absolutely, absolutely. You are absolutely right that the connection, less stress, puts greater employee experience, and employee can thrive and to understand what is the why behind that. Less stress, Stress is also an important part, and I like, the way that you have expressed that, to connect with the purpose, to connect with also the personal purpose with organization purpose. When we thrive, when organization thrive, is it personal purpose that people are dedicated to their work, they are proud of their organization, and they can also thrive, and they can, put understand the why of their business, why the people are doing the business. So all is about engagement, all about employee experience. All of this is really linked, and what I love is about this study is that they make this connection between purpose, employee experience, about work, the why, more than important than how. So very, very important. And when purpose in work and life matters, what this person is holding is, yes, they would like, to have the greater employee experience when purpose in work and life is highest. So very, very interesting, and well done to the Gallup. Gallup, we know that they are researchers. They are, sharing a lot of research really regarding employee experience, regarding um, employee engagement, level. They are, sharing a lot of fascinating studies about that. But this purpose that they have done this study with stand together companies is really interesting, and really I really recommend everyone to look at, my this Monday post is about the combination of life purpose and work purpose. It's very fascinating, research. So to conclude this week, George, about we had a, important and very fascinating research from Monday to Friday. We have reviewed together this week about purpose at work, about this HR operating model, about also honesty in the performance appraisal. It was about also today about retention, top reason to stay and top reason to leave organization. What is your conclusion about this week? Findings.
Well, I think everything is sort of connected. You look at retention,
Yeah,
but there are a lot of reasons why people would decide to stay with an organization. One
yeah,
of them is development. People
yeah,
will stay as long as they're being developed. But as soon as that development stops,
yeah,
then they they will tend to feel that their career is stagnating, and they
yeah,
will move on.
yeah,
So I think, or leaders need to look and say, okay, fine, what development can I offer? But they also have to realize that people will at some stage leave because the development can be offered there. That organization no longer is benefiting them, so they'll maybe move on to another organization and probably take a step up on the ladder at the same time
yeah,
to gain further development, and of course better pay as well,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know by that move upwards. So when we look at that, and when we look at the HR model,
yeah,
HR has a big part to play in retention of people, and also in the way in which it all comes down, as I said earlier, to inclusion, to people being treated as individuals,
yeah,
um, and that really comes down to HR.
yeah,
And for I mean, it starts with the leadership, but
yeah,
HR has a big part to play in putting that sort of culture in place.
yeah. Thank you, George. Thank you, George, for highlighting that. Yes, absolutely. Coming back to all of these findings are related, linked to each other. So, top reason we are taking top reason to leave, top reason to stay, all of them is linked to HR, is linked to organization, is linked to the performance, everything related to to the HR engagement, HR employee engagement, employee experience, and this is HR needs to play a role. Thank you so much, George, for for your for sharing your thoughts today. I hope and thank you everyone join us during this 1 hour of live LinkedIn Live, Future of Work. If you would like to receive the blueprint, a free blueprint, just send me a message. I invite you. We are in the last month of the year. We have a special event December 18 with Dave Ehrlich will join us to look at the achievement of this year, findings of the year 25, and also look ahead for 26. Don't miss this special event. George will be with me, and we will ask him some question regarding this year and also preparing next year. It will be thought provoking. It will be amazing. So let's book your time. It's December 18th at 3 p.m. CST time. George, uh, I, all the best for you. What we will wish for you for this end year.
Thank you very much, Nicholas, and I wish the best to you as well. I'm really looking forward to the 18th when
Yeah,
we have Dave Ulrich.
yeah,
Um, I think that will be very insightful.
absolutely.
So, between now and then, I hope you have a great time and do look after yourself.
Thank you so much, George. Thank you, everyone. Rendezvous December 18 at 3 p.m. CST time. Thank you all. Have a great week and follow me on LinkedIn. I will share, each day a new insight. Follow George as well, of course. Have a good weekend, all. Thank you. Bye bye.